What if you could actually hear a voice from the other side? I don't mean as a metaphor. I mean a real final message. Well, today we're diving into a manuscript from the brilliant theorist Gloria Anzaldúa. She wrote it in her final years, and it was published after her death. And let me tell you, it's a vision that feels like it's speaking to us from a place, well, from a place beyond our own. Right from the very first line, she just sets this astonishing premise. Think about that. These aren't just words on a page. She's framing them as a message sent from the in-between. She actually used an ancient know-it-all word, nepantla, for this space, this threshold between worlds. This is basically an invitation to listen in a way that we almost never get the chance to. So, for anyone who might not be familiar with her, Gloria Anzaldúa was a truly groundbreaking thinker. Her life's work was all about exploring the messy, complicated realities of identity and consciousness. She was always asking, what does it mean to live where different cultures, languages, and entire worlds collide? And she didn't just study these spaces from a distance, she lived in them. She even called herself a nepantleras, which means a builder of bridges.
So, how did she get to this incredible final vision? Well, it all started with her most foundational idea, a concept that was born directly from her own life experience, the borderlands.
You know, at first, Anzaldúa wrote about the borderlands as a literal, physical place, the US-Mexico border. She called it una herida abierta, an open wound. You can just feel the pain in that, right? A place of conflict where two worlds are just grinding against each other. But her idea of what this place meant was about to get so much, much bigger. And this is the big pivot in her thinking. Because what started out as this really specific, painful metaphor for one place, it was about to transform into something that connected with people absolutely everywhere. The wound was about to become an aperture. See, after her book Borderlands came out in '87, something pretty remarkable started to happen. Letters began to show up. First, they were from Chicanas who saw their own lives reflected back at them. But then, the circle just kept widening. Letters from other women of color, then white women, trans men, Korean immigrants, people from all backgrounds. And then, in 2001, she gets a letter from a quantum physicist in Copenhagen, of all places, who tells her, "You just described my experience of reality." Wild, right? This incredible wave of recognition from all corners of the world led her to ask this really profound question. What if that specific personal experience of living on a border wasn't just some localized pain? What if it was actually a key to understanding a universal human condition? And this was the big aha moment, the crucial shift. The wound wasn't just a scar anymore. It was an aperture, an opening. It was a place where the walls between different worlds become thin, creating a passageway where new light, new insight, and new understanding can finally get in. So to give a name to this universal state, she reached back for that Nahuatl word, nepantla. This was the next step in the evolution of borderlands, from a place of pure pain to a space of incredible potential. And what she started to see happening in nepantla, well, it was truly mind-bending. Okay, so check this out. On this slide, Anzaldúa is mapping out how she saw the exact same truths being reflected in two totally different worlds. Over here, you've got the wisdom of ancient healers, the curanderas, who have always known that reality responds to our attention. And over here, you've got quantum physics, which has a name for that, the observer effect. All things are connected, that's entanglement. Multiple realities coexisting, that's superposition. She realized this wasn't about new discoveries, but about finding a new language for ancient wisdom. So the big takeaway here is this amazing paradox. If you want to access what's universal, you don't water down your specific identity. No, you do the opposite. You dive into it. You go so deep that you hit the bedrock underneath all of our individual experiences, and you start to see the patterns that connect every single one of us. Okay, so armed with this massive framework, Anzaldúa then turned her gaze to the biggest challenges of our time, technology and, you guessed it, the climate crisis. She saw the internet as this new kind of in-between space, a digital nepantla, and she argued that the skills that border dwellers have are now essential for navigating it. I mean, think about code switching, that ability to move effortlessly between different languages or social contexts. Isn't that exactly what we do when we manage our different identities on social media? For her, the big question about AI wasn't, is it becoming like us, but how do we learn to relate to it? And then she went even bigger. She saw the climate crisis as the ultimate borderland. It's a planetary-scale crossing that is forcing all of humanity, every single one of us, into a state of nepantla, this terrifying, unstable space between the world we used to know and the one that is hurtling right towards us. Man, this is such a powerful statement. She's not trying to romanticize oppression here, not at all. What she's arguing is that marginalized communities, the people who have always had to live in unstable in-between spaces, possess this hard-won knowledge, these skills for survival and transformation that are now absolutely essential for everyone. They're the scouts, showing the way. So what does this all mean for us, right here, right now? Well, Anzaldúa's final work isn't just theory to be debated. It's a direct call to action. It's an invitation for you to become a bridge. And the amazing thing is, she doesn't just leave us with the problem. She actually offers a framework, a kind of how-to guide for developing this new borderland consciousness. She called it conocimiento, a 7-stage path of transformation designed for navigating our turbulent world. So the path, she says, often begins with a rupture, a moment your world completely shatters. And that throws you into this disoriented, in-between state, which can lead to total paralysis, just freezing up in fear. But out of that darkness, a commitment is born. Rage turns into a decision to act. You start to integrate the broken pieces, to radicalize your perspective by burning the bridges to old comforts that no longer serve you. And then finally, you transform. You begin to actually live in a new reality. It's a tough journey, for sure, but a necessary one. And in the end, after all the theory, after all of the analysis, her message from the other side boils down to a simple, direct, and deeply personal invitation to you. You are an aperture. You are a bridge. You are a border crosser. And so Anzaldúa leaves us with this. And it is not a rhetorical question. It's a direct challenge. It's an inheritance. And it's a responsibility. Now that you know, now that you've been shown the map, what will you do?